Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I'm joined by the amazing David Simicevic. Dave, how you doing today?
Doing great. How are you, Ken?
I'm doing very well. I didn't even have to ask him how to spell that or say that last name. I just knew right away how to say it. Now, Dave, before we talk about why you're here, my friend, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. Dave loves horror movies, loves to watch all different genres of movies. I was also a big wrestling fan. For those of you that think he looks a little familiar, it's probably because you watched me over on his channel talk about WWE wrestling, TNA wrestling, WCW wrestling. We went
Thank you
all the
for
way
that.
back and talked about everything, man. So,
Thank you for
um,
that.
no, it was seriously my honor, and it's glad to be able to return the favor and bring you on here, man.
I appreciate
Um,
it. My honor too.
you're also a big fan of action and horror movies. Grew up in New York, transplanted to New Jersey. Going to horror conventions is kind of your thing now. You've gone to Horror Fest in Stanford, where they had the Terrifier cast. You've met Felissa Rose, Amy Steele, James Jude Courtney. So, what got you interested in starting up the YouTube channel?
Well, I've always been a big wrestling fan ever since I'm very young, since the 80s. I don't know, it just always captivated me. I was always into wanting to see what was going to happen next, where they were going to go next, how it was going to unfold. I love the promo aspect of it. I kind of call it like the male soap opera. So it's it's just something that grabbed me and pulled me in, and just watching the action and back and forth, and exchanges, and how the different characters, how they would develop, and the different storylines. It just kept me intrigued, and just kept on making me would just want more, just continually wanted more, to see more and more of it.
I totally understand that. Like you said, wrestling, as well as horror, they kind of go hand in hand with each other. And I think it's just because of the amount of, fantasy that goes along with it, the amount of
Right,
imagination that goes along with it. So I think it's
right.
always been something that I've loved both of those things for a very long time too. So to know that you're so far into both of them the way that I am, I think that's incredible. But we talked a little bit about it. You've been going to a lot more horror conventions lately. So what got you ready to, really wanting to go to horror conventions?
Um, for me, I guess I'm a very visual guy, so seeing things up close, going to these conventions, seeing the different things that are offered from the different vendors, and then actually, even meeting some of the stars themselves. I mean, for me, I know that, celebrities are just people, but for me, I don't know, meeting the people who actually star in these movies, it takes work, it takes effort. And,
Yeah.
this is kind of me saying, coming and, paying it back to them and saying, thank you for giving the world, yourselves, as you participate and as you star in these different movies, and these different horrors, these different genres. And I'm just appreciative that they take the time and kind of give back to the fans, and let us have that experience and that interaction in that way.
Right.
So,
And it is amazing to meet these people that help to create us who we are, you know. But in order for you to go to horror conventions and to love the horror genre as much as you do, David, horror had to start for you somewhere. So now, my friend, I would like to go back to the past and talk about what got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And David, the first horror movie you watched was?
first horror movie that I watched was Cujo back in, well, it came out in 83. I actually viewed it in 84 as a 10-year-old. So,
Yeah.
um, and it was I've got to say, it was something else. And it's kind of crazy, because the way that it starts is, you see this dog running around with the nice music, and it's like, oh, that's kind of nice. And then after, it gets bit by the bat in the hole, it's like, all right, here comes the dark turn now. So, but I just remember sitting there and just watching it, and just being like, oh my goodness, that was my first one, and it really it really had an impact on me, definitely.
Oh, I truly, truly believe that. So we know that you were 10, quite young when you had watched it for the first time, but do you remember who you were with? the first time you watched it?
I think I was pretty sure I was with my older sister. I don't think my parents were home. I think it was just my older sister and I think we were in the living
She was
room.
like, she's like, I got you now, David. So you're very young, and obviously Cujo is a movie that is still very impactful today. But
Mm,
when we were young, we loved dogs. And still do, still love dogs.
definitely. Right.
But we know the difference between fantasy and reality now. But when you're young and you don't truly understand it, and you see this evil dog, it
Yeah.
is pretty fucking nuts. So,
It's
do you remember which scene affected you the most?
the scene that affected me the most is definitely the one where he's going at Cujo is going at the mom in the car, at Donna in the car, and Tad is just in the back seat and he's screaming and crying uncontrollably. He tears, he bites into her leg, he tears her skirt. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so terrifying. Hope please let it. I'm thinking to myself, please let her survive. Let her survive. I don't want Cujo to get her, especially that would, I mean, it probably would traumatize Tad, the young boy, for life as it is. But then, if it went any further and actually Cujo actually killed the mom, that would have been like, wow, that would have been crazy. But that was just, I mean, I just remember seeing him in the back seat. He was just really Danny Pintaro, the actor there, Tad. He did such a great job, I think, of he was just so emotional and so wrecked in that scene. I can imagine, well, as a young boy, what was going through his mind as that was unfolding.
Oh, absolutely. And like especially now, even like with my kids, whenever they want to watch horror, we always watch behind the scenes stuff first so they can see how it's made. And so something like that, they would see it's not really an evil dog. It's
Right,
they're having fun, they're
right,
playing, they're pretending. And I think that's good to go along with it, the education to go along with these scenes, especially ones like that. So
yeah,
usually I ask people, hey, your first horror movie, would you like to see that remade? But Netflix is already doing it. They're doing a remake of this on Netflix. So
yeah.
is this something you're excited about?
It is actually. I'd like to see where they go with it, what they'll do with it. I think they can go into different realms. I think, I think to myself, what if they made this movie and they actually one of the main characters was someone who actually hated dogs. And
Sure.
and here you go. Here's a person who hates dogs. Ah, get out of here. I don't want any dogs around me. So and then a Cujo coming after this type of person, you're kind of in a way rooting. You're kind of in a way rooting for Cujo because who doesn't love dogs? Who doesn't love
Right.
who doesn't love dogs? You kind of in a way want to get behind Cujo because here's someone. It's kind of in a way. It's kind of like in the original Cujo, where the husband that stayed behind when the mother and the son went on the trip. He wasn't. He was. It was shown a little bit that he was kind of abusive, verbally abusive, at least that you
Yeah.
could see. So and I remember being even just maybe even as a young boy being slightly disappointed because they kind of cut away and didn't really show that kill, and I was like, ah, man. I'm thinking to myself, is he really still alive? Is he going to come back later on? I wasn't really sure of it because they really didn't show it. It was more implied. So
Hmm. And that still is one of those scenes where you're like, what is happening here?
yeah.
What are we doing here? So, and you talked a little bit about the kill, and I always ask people when we talk about their first horror movie, which kill was it that was your favorite of the film?
Um, it probably was that implied kill, although um, the yeah, it probably was that implied kill because he was a bad guy, so
Hmm.
I kind of wanted it to come to him. It was I want he had it coming. He bad guy. He shouldn't. He doesn't deserve good. So
No, totally agree. And he's one of those people that, like you said, it's really easy to root against him.
right, right.
You know, have you ever read the novel?
I actually have not. I have not read the novel. No. Yeah, I
Neither have
haven't.
I, because I've
Okay.
seen the movie, and
Okay.
I feel like that's enough for me.
Yeah, I have.
So usually when I talk to people about their first horror movie, um, I always ask, what is your favorite movie in this franchise? But since Cujo is a one-off film at this point, let me ask you this. What is your favorite Stephen King film adaptation?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I have to go with Misery.
Nice.
I think I have to go with Misery. Yes, that was another very impactful film, and I can't remember the first. I can't remember what age I first viewed it, but seeing that for the first time, I was like, "Oh my goodness, that is something else."
Especially the hobbling scene.
Yes.
Oh, that one sticks with you.
Oh
That
my
that
goodness.
one that one sticks with you for sure.
Oh boy. Yes. So,
Um, so we've talked about Cujo, and what that movie means to you, your excitement for the remake and Misery. But I always ask, I always throw a little bit of a curveball at you. My little
okay.
buddy Ghostface is here, and he
Okay.
has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, David?
My
What is your
favorite,
favorite horror movie of all time?
my favorite horror movie of all time. This is I think I will have to go with the original Scream.
Ghostface is smiling now. He kind
Yeah,
of looks
that's
like the
right.
Ghostface from Scary
I
Movie
did, you know
now.
what? I didn't even. It's funny. I didn't even think about that when I said it, but that's fun. That is funny. Yes, the original Scream. The ending to that was just. I was like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. That's just. It was really awesome how that was done. That movie was done. The ending leading up to that was just like, wow. Yeah.
It revitalized the horror genre back in 96. Like, you look
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
movies that were made 93, 94, 95, and then the horror movies that were made 97, 98, 99.
Yeah.
The impact of Scream is very, very obvious
Yeah.
after you,
Definitely.
go back and look in hindsight how important that movie truly was.
Right. 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 I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I've had an amazing time with you, David, talking about
Thank
all these things horror and all these things wrestling. And you guys can follow him on social media and his YouTube page. Those links are all in the description. So make sure you're following David on social media. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube account so that way you can get some amazing wrestling content from him as well. But before I let you go, David, we always bounce back to the same question. We're going to go back to Cujo, and what we're going to do is rank this movie on a skull count. Now, we're not ranking it on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. We're not being critics. All we're doing here, David, is ranking this movie on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So, zero skulls being not effective, five being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. David, what would your ranking of Cujo be?
My ranking would have to be a 4.5, 4.5 out of 5. It's definitely one that hit me hard and was at sometimes, painful to watch and just kind of like I think about even the scenes when Cujo is pawing at the windshield and pawing at the side. I'm like, oh my gosh, is the glass going to break? Is he actually going to get in there? Is he actually going to get to them? And watching it, it's like and for me the the I like the horror movies of like the 70s and the 90s that are more
Yes.
suspense building, the Halloweens and you know stuff like that. Those types of horror movies. I'm not the greatest fan, I guess, of people today like the gore and stuff, but I'm more of like the build up. I like the horror movie, the suspense and the build up. Like the very first Halloween, here comes what's his name, Michael Myers walking slowly towards and you get the
Yep.
music, the great music. So yeah, so back to Cujo, I would go with a 4.5 out of 5.
And that's a
Yeah.
perfect ranking for this movie. Like I said, as kids, this was scary as hell.
Yes.
Like this
Yes.
genuinely was a, bone chilling, terrifying movie. And so to see that it still has that impact today, I think is super amazing.
Definitely, I agree.
So, David, I do want to thank you one more time for coming on and hanging out with me for a little bit and talking about your love of the genre and wrestling. And seriously, it means a lot. Thank you so
Thank.
much. And remember, guys, all his links are down in the description. So do your job, go down there, follow him on social media, and subscribe to his channel. David, please don't go anywhere, my friend. I got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Uh, Everyone else, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Those links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.